Is this frequency in use? This is Kilo India 5 Delta Oscar Golf KI5DOG, and my name is David. My station is in the Rio Grande Valley of deep South Texas, and welcome to this episode of 73 in the RGV. This episode is being recorded on Monday, July 21, 2025 for online publication on Monday, July 21, 2025. Hello and welcome back to 73 in the RGV, the show dedicated to sharing information, imparting knowledge, and to help anyone that is interested in getting their license as an amateur radio operator, joining the awesome community of amateur radio operators in the Rio Grande Valley down here in deep South Texas. Welcome everybody. Today's episode is all about joining a recurring ham radio net, what it is, how to get started, and why it's such an essential part of the amateur radio experience. So, if you are newly licensed, recently picked up your first rig, or you are just curious about what all the buzz is on those local frequencies, this episode right here is for you. So let's get started, and of course, as always, let's start with the basics and work our way up or down. Let's just start with the basics. A ham radio net, which is short for network, is a scheduled on-air gathering of amateur radio operators. These can be local, regional, or even worldwide, and some are informal roundtables, while others are highly structured and serve very specific purposes, like emergency preparedness or weather spotting or hobbyist discussions. Now, nets are organized by net controllers. Think of them as the moderators, the mods. And they help keep order, they take the check-ins, guide the flow of the conversation. It is a great way to practice on-air communication skills and get to know others in your community and even prepare for real-life emergencies where radio may be your best line of communications. So, let's see. You might be wondering, so how do I find a net to join? You start by checking the local amateur radio club's websites, and I'm going to share them here, or repeater listings, or the ARRL net directory. It's online, and again, if you're in the show notes, it's in the show notes. And if you're listening / watching this on YouTube, it's in the comments or in the information down below. So again, all of that's there. Your local repeater frequencies, listening in during the evening hours when most nets happen. And here, deep South Texas, Rio Grande Valley, we have we have one here, the Valley Information Net, and that's 7:30. Correction. That's 7 p.m. It's 7 p.m. It's over by 7:30. My apologies. But I'll mention a little bit more about that in just a bit. So, what do? You start by listening. Listen first. Get a feel for how the net runs. Then, when you're comfortable, it's time to check in. I know with me, I did some listening maybe about a week or two, and then I checked in. But during that time, I had made my first contacts. My first couple of contacts. So, again, when it comes time to check in, you're going to know, but don't wait too long. Get in there. And here's a golden rule. Listen before you transmit. See, every net has its own rhythm. Follow the lead of the net control operator and wait for your turn to check in. Now, when you are called or invited to check in, here's a simple example of what to say. You ready? Here. This is Kilo India 5 Delta Oscar Golf, Dave in the Rio Grande Valley. First time checking in, no traffic, just listening. And that short transmission gives your call sign, your name, your location, and your intent to simply listen, learn, and then participate. Now keep it brief, avoid interrupting, and as always, follow instructions from the net control. Right. So, if you're listening to how nets have run, you'll know when interruptions happen and who's doing the interruption. But when it's your turn, just keep it brief and just follow the flow. So why should you join a ham net regularly? Well, it's real simple. One, practice your skills. It is a safe space to improve your communication and learn. To stay sharp for emergencies. Now, many nets have, they serve as a prep for real-world events. And again, because you never know, it can happen at any time. connecting with your community. Build trust, relationships, and camaraderie. Leadership opportunities. Over time, you can learn to serve as a net control or support others. It happens. Sometimes you get invited, and it's like, yeah, sure, I can fill in, no worries. And then other times, everything's all set, so you're good to go. But again, you're there, you can do it. So again, but it comes with practice. Now, joining a net is not just about pushing the microphone button. It's about plugging into a network of people with a shared purpose. Now, like I said earlier, I remember the first time I was on the net. I was nervous. What if I said the wrong thing? What if I messed up my call sign? And remember, I had that one weird call sign at KI5IZC? IZC? Yeah, that one. So good thing we spell it out phonetically, but, oh, no, never mind. But I'll tell you this. See, the ham community is one of the most welcoming and encouraging groups out there. And our group down here in Rio Grande Valley, Deep South Texas, is awesome. Awesome. And the more you participate, the more confidence you build. And soon, you will be helping the next newcomer feel right at home on the airwaves. See, running the net or starting a podcast about amateur radio. I don't know if you can hear it, but you barely hear it in the background. It's the International Space Station's flying over, and I'm listening into that downlink traffic. And speaking of the amateur radio on the International Space Station, I'll be talking about that here in an upcoming episode. So whether you are an aspiring ham or already licensed and looking to grow, I encourage you to take that step. Listen in, learn, and when you're ready, key up that microphone, check in, and be part of something bigger. Because amateur radio, like leadership, is all about communication, clear, honest, and consistent. And folks, if you enjoyed this episode and everything that's going on here at 73 in the RGV, I want to take a moment to invite you to subscribe. Share this with a fellow ham, or share this with somebody who's not too sure about joining. Again, that's what this episode, or not just this episode, but this entire podcast is to kind of help answer the questions and get everybody started. And of course, I invite you to leave a review, and don't forget to come back often. All right, let's talk about upcoming events, and let's visit the webs, and let's visit the social medias and all that good stuff. Alrighty, so this information I'm going to share with you is drawn from various web and social media sources. Of course, if there's an event or project or program or testing dates on your schedule and I don't mention them here, please feel free to drop me a note. Let me know. ki5dog@yahoo.com. Now let's get on with it. From the RIOARC.org website, breakfast every Wednesday at 8 a.m. at Los Leones in La Feria, Texas. Breakfast every Saturday at 8 a.m. at Tejano Grill in Harlingen, Texas. The monthly club meeting, 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., the second Tuesday of each month except December at the Harlingen Irrigation District in Harlingen, Texas. Members, guests are welcome and encouraged to attend all meetings, breakfast, and public events. So if you find yourself out there, go ahead and stop on by. Join them for breakfast, either Wednesdays or Saturdays, or the club meeting. All right, from the Whiskey 5 Romeo Golf Victory, or the W5RGV.org website. Speaking of the website, when you visit the website, check out their buy-sell equipment page. They've had some pretty good pieces of equipment and antennas and gear and stuff at some very good prices. Now, it's not brand new, okay? It's not brand new. It's gently used, but I've seen some good stuff, and then when I'm ready to pull the trigger, it's gone. So you got to check back off in there, especially. So check it out. Again, that's the buy-sell equipment page, or the buy-sell page. That's what it's called on the main page. Click on it, and it'll take you in there. That's the W5RGV.org website. All right, the Valley Information Net. As I mentioned earlier, the Valley Information Net on the Stars Link repeater system every day at 7 p.m. Central. Again, every day, 7 p.m. Central Time, 1900 hours military. All amateurs are welcome to participate. On the monthly, on the first Wednesday of every month at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, the District 21 Races, RACES Net. Again, the District 21 Races Net monthly on the first Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Central on the StarsLink repeater system. And upcoming test dates, I have not heard of anything. No one's reached out with any upcoming dates. So if you've got it, visit if you need to test, folks. If you need to test, you're ready to test. You're ready to pull the trigger. Either reach out on the at their website, and again, this is for the Brownsville, Harlingen area, the w5rgv.org website, and reach out to them. They'll get somebody to get you tested and get you on the air. And so again, but I have not heard of any upcoming test dates. But if there are, someone needs to relay that over to me. All righty, let's move on to the rgvarc.org, rgvarc.org website, the District 3 ARESnet, every Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. on the Rio Link repeater system, or the Rio Link repeater system. The weekly ARES Coordination Net is hosted by the Rio Grande Valley Amateur Radio Club and District 3 ARES, ARES. And we'll talk more about RACES and ARES in an upcoming episode. Simplex Sunday. I've been bad. I've been doing something else, and I look up and it's like, oh, Simplex Sunday, every Sunday at 6 p.m. is come and gone for me. So again, join us, Simplex Sunday. That's point-to-point communication, Simplex, because we are on the 146.520 megahertz frequency, which is the national Simplex calling frequency in the United States for amateur radio. And the net control, of course, is our good friend KZ5DNA. And then Rag Chew Monday, every Monday at 6 p.m., also on the Rio Link repeater system. And now that's linked. That's the repeater system. So it's not point to point. You're talking to the repeater rebroadcast to everybody. So again, that's Rag Chew Monday. And again, that's also hosted. The net control is our good friend KZ5 Delta November Alpha KZ5DNA. Tell them I invited you to come and join. So again, just say hi, say howdy, and check in. Alrighty, and breakfast. Oh, these guys have breakfast at the Junction Cafe. Guys and gals, sorry. And that's breakfast every Saturday at 10 a.m. It can be a brunch. It could be breakfast too, and it could be lunch. It's up to you. It's your call. All right, it's your call, which is a good time for 10 a.m. So every Saturday, 10 a.m. at the Junction Cafe at the southeast corner of the Business 83 and Cage Boulevard, State Highway 281 in Pharr, Texas. The Junction Cafe. Alrighty, and again, every Saturday, 10 a.m. And upcoming testing dates in McAllen, again, are at this time were not made available, but if there are any, again, reach out. And folks, if you're in the Upper Valley, Wesco, you don't want to go to Harlingen, you want to go to Brownsville, you want to be up here, McAllen, Edinburgh area, Mission, then visit the website. Again, that's the rgvarc.org website, and there's a link there to communicate with the individual responsible for testing, and just tell them what you're ready to rock and roll, and they'll get you the test form, and then you're off you go. Alrighty, and an invitation as always to all technicians, general and amateur extra license holders that want to talk about amateur radio, their journey into the hobby, and anything else ham radio related. Again, please don't hesitate. Don't be shy. Drop me an email at ki5dog@yahoo.com. I know everybody's got something to say. Well, come on to the show and say it. Again, ki5dog@yahoo.com, and we'll get you on. We'll do a phone interview or a Zoom interview, real quick, real easy, no big deal. We'll get you on here. We'll talk about the amateur radio. Alrighty, as always, a special invite to the Amateur Radio Club officers or public affairs representatives to join me on this podcast to share the latest happenings, actions, and activities for their groups. And things are always happening. Something's always around the corner. So again, don't hesitate. And again, for everybody else, those of you that are interested in becoming licensed, not yet licensed, how do I become licensed? Listen, if you've got questions, we got answers. And when I say we, I mean all of us together. I don't have all the answers, but I know the people who do have the answers. I know them. And I really do. Seriously, I know people. So don't hesitate reaching out. Drop me an email, ki5dog@yahoo.com, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, let's see what else. Lastly, and most importantly, if you are not yet a licensed amateur radio operator, please protect the airwaves, our airwaves, your airwaves. They are yours, even though if you're not licensed, they are your airwaves. Because you will be once your license can use them. So you will be using them. So protect them now by keeping the pirate in you and in others at bay. Yes, piracy or transmission by unlicensed individuals or parties is a federal crime punishable with fines of up to $10,000 and or imprisonment for up to 1 year for each penalty, with increased penalties for subsequent violations. So for each violation, that adds up quickly. And we're not talking about, I keyed up the mic 7 times in one day, so it's just one. No, that's 7 instances. That's 7 separate violations. It adds up, so folks, don't do it. It's not worth it. Get licensed. Join this awesome community. We'll welcome you in. We really want to welcome you in. But again, keep the pirate in you at bay. Well, listen, I think it's about time we wrap this up. So again, thank you for joining us today. We hope you come back often. Remember, in the next episode, we're going to talk about getting involved and joining a radio club. Yeah, one of these amateur radio clubs. And we'll talk about how to do that and why it's important. And again, you'll see. We'll talk about it then. But in the meantime, I am now returning this frequency back to regular amateur use. And until next time, this is 73 in the RGV, and I am KI5DOG, clear on your final 73.